Hello there, it's Public Enema. 2022 was a fantastic year for an RPG fan. We finally saw the official Western release of Trails from Zero, plus releases like Xenoblade 3, Triangle Strategy, a new Star Ocean, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core remake, plus Tactics Ogre remake. And this doesn't even include like the non-JRPGs like Elden Ring and God of War, and then also the new Horizon Forbidden West game. Did I play many of these? Not really. But that doesn't mean I can't get excited about what also is coming in 2023. Plus, I'm not a real YouTuber until I do a top 10 YouTube list, so without further ado, here are my most anticipated games for 2023.
Kicking off our list at number 10 is Stellar Blade by the Shift Up Corporation. This is a new Korean developer, and this is due for release to be determined for the PS5 exclusive in 2023. Formerly titled Project Eve, this game was announced a couple of years ago, but I got an update with a PlayStation State of Play a few months ago. Looking like a sci-fi action game that's really going to emphasize some fast-paced combat, kind of shades of like some Devil May Cry or Bayonetta even. Difficulty-wise, it looks like it might even be a little Souls-like, but we'll have to see. We'll follow Eve as she returns to an apocalyptic Earth as we try to rebuild humanity and come across things called natives to fight in combat. I don't know, this one looks really pretty. It looks like it could be pretty fun, and most importantly, it will give me a reason to use my PS5 for an actual PS5 game. So I'm looking forward to getting to this one. Coming in next at number 9 is The Legend of Nayuta, Boundless Trails from Neon Falcom. This will be arriving for PS4, Switch, and PC at some point in 2023, and is actually a spin-off of the mainline Trails series. Should feature action RPG combat set in a different world, but with overlapping elements of the overall Trails universe. And this was actually originally a PSP game released in 2012 in Japan, and it received an enhanced PS4 remake in 2021, which is what they're actually porting over to us. In this game, we'll play as Nayuta and his friends in the fairy Noi as we go adventuring throughout the land, and we'll uncover a dark conspiracy that will probably exponentially get worse and worse. I'm excited about this one because it's the only action RPG set in the Trails series, and I'm hoping that it combines the best of what Ys and Trails have to offer. Plus, I trust Falcom at this point, so I'm willing to try anything they throw out. So I'm really looking forward to getting around to this one. At number 8, we have The Expanse, a Telltale series from Telltale Games. This will be arriving in the summer of 2023 for PS5, PS4, Xbox One, PC, Xbox Series X, and the Series S. So this is an outlier on this list that is basically all RPGs. I guess I would call this a graphic adventure game. The only other Telltale game I've actually played is the Game of Thrones one, but it was really fun, really enjoyed it. This one will follow Kamina Drummer, who's one of the characters from the books and also the show. She's the captain of the spaceship Artemis, and typical of the Telltale games, sure they have several difficult decision trees to progress through. Something I thought was cool is Kara G, who's actually the actress that plays Kamina Drummer in the show, is doing the voice work for this game. I put this one on the list because the books are phenomenal. It's one of my favorite series, so any content that's set in that universe I am all for. So seriously, read the books, watch the show, maybe play this game. Coming in at lucky number 7 is Sea of Stars from Sabotage Studio, which is the studio that brought us The Messenger. This was previously scheduled for release at the end of this year, but now it's been pushed back to 2023, and it's coming for Switch, PS5, PS4, and PC. This is a Kickstarter-funded game. I actually missed out on the campaign, but I've been following this one pretty closely ever since I first saw a trailer for it. It gives me heavy Chrono Trigger and like Super Mario RPG vibes. In this one, we'll follow the main characters Valir and Zale and their journey to defeat the alchemist named Fleshmancer. There's probably a joke there, I just don't have it right now. One thing that really grabbed me about this game is the fact that Yasunori Mitsuda is involved as a composer, and he is a god-level tier video game composer responsible for work on Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross and also some of the Xenoblade series. This is actually not the last Kickstarter game that we'll see on the list, but more to come on that. Next up at number 6 on the list, we have Octopath Traveler 2 from Square Enix and Acquire Studios. This is dropping on February 24th for Switch, PS5, PS4, and PC, This is one, when they first revealed it during the Nintendo Direct, I was surprised with how excited I got about it. Like, I played the first one, I really enjoyed my time with it, but it didn't necessarily strike me as like a masterpiece. But there's just something about this art style really taps into that nostalgia of like the games I grew up with. So like the first game wasn't perfect by any means, but I'm excited to see how the second game in the series will build. We'll follow 8 characters and their intertwining stories, and I think the characters are a little more interconnected this time around. And also they've added to where like the different path actions you can do differ based on the time of day. And the highlights of the first game include the outstanding soundtrack and the fantastic HD 2D visuals and a really fun battle system, so I'm really hoping the second game can capitalize and build on all of that. At number 5 on the list, we have Fire Emblem Engage from Nintendo and Intelligent Systems. This is actually the earliest available game on our list. It drops January 20th, and it is a Switch exclusive. In this game, we'll gather heroes of the past to help save the continent of Helios from the Fell Dragon. It'll allow us to summon previous Fire Emblem heroes like Marth and Ike, Corrin, and Celica. Also, they've announced DLC, which will include the heroes from 3 houses, Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude. So yes, the protagonist looks like a cross between a Nintendo Joy-Con and a squirt of Colgate, but I haven't missed a mainline Fire Emblem game since Awakening and don't really plan on starting now. I mean, 3 houses is the reason why I bought a Switch, so I'm really looking forward to the next mainline Fire Emblem game. Coming in at number 4 on the list is Iodine Chronicle 100 Heroes from Rabbit and Bear Studios. This was a Kickstarter darling that's finally coming out in late 2023 for Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, PC, Xbox Series X, and Series S. This is a spiritual successor to the Suikoden franchise, in which we'll recruit over 100 possible characters. It appears to bring back a lot of the beloved parts of the old Suikoden franchise, like the huge recruitable cast, duels, full-scale army battles. I feel like this Kickstarter is responsible for reminding Konami that they have a license to print money with their Suikoden series if they were to continue to do re-releases, which they have. They've announced a Suikoden 1 and 2 re-release coming in 2023. That is an honorable mention for this list. But I really hope that this game succeeds, and it will not only lead to more games by Rabbit and Bear Studios, but also maybe a revival of the Suikoden franchise. Coming in at number 3 on our countdown is The Legend of Heroes Trails to Azure from Neon Falcom. This will be releasing on March 14th of 2023 on Switch, PS4, and PC, and is the direct sequel to Trails from Zero, which finally received its official Western release this year. This was originally released in 2011 for PSP, but not officially available in the West until now. So shout out to the fan group the Geofront for their fan translation that Falcom actually picked up to use as the basis for the official translation. This is the second half of the Crossbell arc, and once again we'll follow the members of the special support section as the city-state finds itself stuck in the middle of another international conflict. What makes these games so special is the unmatched world building and character development, and in addition to the soundtrack from Falcom's sound team, it just makes it a classic in my opinion. So yes, this is a game that I've played and beaten, but I don't care. I'm still really excited to play it again in official capacity. Having recently replayed Trails from Zero, I'm just reminded at how good this series is. One caveat here, this is not an entry point in the series. As good as these games are, you'll want to start with Trails in the Sky or Trails of Cold Steel first. Coming in at number 2 on the list is Final Fantasy XVI from Square Enix. It recently got a firm release date of June 22nd. It will be a PS5 timed exclusive and will eventually work its way over to at least PC. It's set in the land of Valistia, where a disease known as the Blight is taking over the land, and it's leading to the conflict of 6 nations within Valistia. And our particular point of view will follow Clive Rossfield, and it's a revenge quest as he pursues the Dark Icon, which is a summon in this world, Ifrit. I'm excited about Final Fantasy returning to a medieval, like high fantasy type setting, and the tone definitely seems to be more adult and also a lot darker than some of the previous Final Fantasies. It kind of looks a little like Game of Thrones without, all the twincest. It will have an action-style combat and the lead composer is actually Masayoshi Soken of Final Fantasy XIV fame, and he's put out some outstanding songs from that game. Also involved is Yoshi P, who's responsible for bringing Final Fantasy XIV back from the brink of death and turned it into the successful game that we have today. So it's been a long time since Final Fantasy XV has been released. I'm excited to get into this. This game looks gorgeous. Everything about the tone just really matches like what I want out of a Final Fantasy. I can't wait to get into this one, and this is definitely a day one buy for me. And 2023's most anticipated game for me is Legend of the Heroes Trails into Reverie from Falcom, releasing in the third quarter for PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC, and I may be guilty of already pre-ordering the limited edition of this. So yes, it's another Falcom game. Yes, it's another game that requires you to play a bunch of other games before being able to start it, but I'm really looking forward to getting some closure on both the Cold Steel arc from Reen's point of view and also Lloyd's point of view from the Crossbell arc of these games. You play as 3 separate points of view, Reen, Lloyd, and then the mysterious rogue named C, and there's over 50 new and returning playable characters with added side stories. So similar to how the third part of Trails in the Sky acted as like a closure to a lot of different side characters and also sets up what's to come, I expect that's what Trails into Reverie is going to be as well, setting up the Kuro arc, which has not come westward yet. I'm really looking forward to jumping back into this rich world with so many great characters. The battle system is really fun, and again, the Falcom sound team music is just outstanding.
"2023 is absolutely stacked with JRPGs, and this doesn't even include some honorable mentions like Loop 8, Eternite, the new Legend of Zelda game. I didn't list the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 because I don't think it's coming in 2023. If it does, then it probably slots into number 2 on my list. Also, Ys 10 got a Japanese release date in 2023, but I don't think there's any way in hell we see that until 2024. So, what did I miss? Did I snub your favorite franchise or game? Am I insane for listing 3 separate Trails games in a top 10 list? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching.